Summer dresses are always a must-have in your wardrobe collection. They are light, comfortable, and easy to style. In this video, we will be making a tent dress which you can wear while you go to shop or even for a brunch with friends. We will show you how to mark and cut the fabric according to the template. Join the front and back pieces, finishing the neckline, finishing the side seams, the sleeve hem, and finally the bottom hem. To make the tent dress, you will need 3 meters of fabric of 60 inches width. We have chosen a soft denim fabric. Template for the tent dress which you can download from our website www.ushasew.com. Chalk, a pair of scissors, ruler, measuring tape, beaded pins, and threads to match the fabrics. Let's get started. Step 1. Template marking and fabric cutting. Open the soft denim fabric and fold it right side facing the right side. Make sure the wrong side faces you. Place the template marked front on the fabric. Make sure the side mentioned on fold is placed on the fold of the fabric. Use beaded pins to secure the template in place. Use a piece of chalk to trace the edges of the template onto the fabric. Once done, unpin the template and keep it aside. Pick up your scissors and get cutting. Cut along the marked line. You have the front piece ready. In a similar fashion, place the back template onto the fabric. Make sure the side mentioned on fold is placed on the fold of the fabric. Pin the template to the fabric and draw the outline of the template using a piece of chalk. Unpin the template and cut out the back piece of the dress. Step 2. Joining the front and back pieces by sewing the shoulders to the sleeves. Open the back fabric which you have just cut and lay it on the table with the wrong side facing down. This is the wrong side of the fabric and this is the right side of the fabric. Place the front side of the dress onto the back piece. We are going to stitch the fabric together. Right side facing right side as shown. We are going to stitch from shoulder to sleeve. Pin the 2 pieces with beaded pins. Take the pinned fabric to the Usha Janomi Wonder Stitch Plus. Place the end of one sleeve under the presser foot. Set the stitch selector dial to A and the stitch length to 2.5. Begin sewing. Do a reverse stitch at the beginning to secure the stitches. Stitch the entire sleeve and stop when you reach the neck. Do a reverse stitch at the end as well. Now repeat this entire process for the other sleeve as well. Cut the thread. This is how the stitch should look like. Let's proceed with zigzag stitches on the edges of the stitch fabric to avoid fraying. Align the sleeve under the presser foot. Set the stitch selector dial to C and stitch length to 1.5. Start sewing from the neck towards the sleeve ends. No need for reverse stitching while doing zigzag stitches. Once you're done with this sleeve, repeat the same process on the other sleeve. Start sewing from the sleeve ends towards the neck. Cut off any extra thread with a pair of scissors. This is how your stitches should look like. Step 3. Finishing the neckline. In order to give the neckline a perfect finish, we will need bias strips. Don't worry, we will teach you how to cut these strips. Take the remaining piece of fabric. Take a scale and draw a diagonal line at 45 degrees angle across the fabric as shown. With the help of a measure tape, mark 1.5 inches from the line at different points to ensure you draw a straight line. Connect the markings with a line. Since we will need 3 bias strips, 1 for the neck and 2 for the sleeves, repeat the same process twice. Once all the markings are done, cut these strips with a pair of scissors. Make sure you only cut the top layer of the fabric. Our bias strips are ready. Take the strip and the dress to the machine. For finishing the neckline, keep the strip right side facing wrong on the shoulder joint as shown. Place the fabric under the presser foot. Set the stitch selector dial to A and stitch length to 2.5. Stitch all around the neck almost till the end. Stop the machine just before the start point. Take out the fabric. Align the strip sides at the shoulder joint and secure the joint with a stitch. Stitch this overlap and remember to do a reverse stitch at the start and at the end. Cut the thread. This extra piece of bias can be cut off with a pair of scissors. Now stitch the gap you had left before so that the bias strip is completely attached to the neckline. Pay attention to the next part. Fold the bias strip by 1/4 inch towards the right side and then fold again over the seam allowance. Secure the fold with an edge stitch from the right side of the fabric. Cut off any extra threads to keep a clean finish. This is how the neck should look. Step 4. Finishing the side seam. In order to finish the side seam, we will start sewing from the sleeve hem and go all the way to the bottom of the dress. Place the open end of the sleeve under the presser foot and start doing a straight stitch. Be careful when you come near the armhole so that you get a perfect stitch. On reaching the bottom, cut off the excess thread. To give a finishing touch, it's time to do a zigzag stitch at the edge. Place the sleeve under the presser foot and set the stitch selector dial to C and the stitch length to 1.5. Start doing the zigzag stitch from the sleeve to the bottom of the dress. Once done, this is how the stitches should look like. We need to give slashes under the arm. We will repeat this entire process of stitching followed by zigzag stitches and slashing under the armhole on the other side of the dress. Step 5. Finishing the sleeve hem. The 2 extra pieces of bias strip as mentioned earlier are for the sleeves. Take one piece of the bias strip and place it over the sleeve edge of the dress. The right side of the bias strip should be facing the wrong side of the dress. Remove the accessory box of the machine for the ease of stitching circular seams. Adjust the fabric under the presser foot. Set the stitch selector dial to straight stitch and stitch length to 2.5. Start sewing. Go all across the sleeve almost till the end. Now, similar to the neck, take the extra bias strip for about an inch and do straight stitches across it as shown in the video. Cut off the extra thread. This extra piece of bias can be cut off with a pair of scissors. Now stitch the gap you had left before so that the bias strip is completely attached. Now turn the sleeves on the right side. Fold the bias strip by 1/4 of an inch and then again over the seam line. Place the sleeve under the machine and do a straight stitch on the edge across the sleeve. Cut off the excess thread and your sleeves are done. This is how the finished sleeve should look like. Repeat the same process on the other sleeve. Step 6. Finishing the bottom hem. This is easy breezy. Fold the bottom of the dress by 1/2 an inch twice like shown. Now do a straight stitch on the fold across the bottom of the dress. The bottom hemline is done. You have successfully sailed through the entire process of creating a tent dress. Give yourself a pat on the back. To make this dress more quirky, embellishing is always a great option. With so many ribbons and sequins now available in the market, you can get very creative. Use the Usha Janomi ribbon sequin foot to enhance the tent dress you just created. If you would like to know how to use this foot, Visit our website www.ushasew.com and check out the tutorial for the same. Aren't you proud of what you have just created? Click a picture and share it with your friends or upload it to your social media handles. You can also enhance, embellish and upscale this tent dress in various ways.